Welcome back to my stream, however late we are. Looks like we're 18 minutes in. Um, if you were following there, I was having some video audio issues, which were resolved with a simple reset of the streaming software. So that's good. Um, but with today's stream, we will start out by rebuilding a few engines we have in our warehouse. We already had the blocks. We're just going to go ahead and build the engine onto said blocks. And from there, we'll move over to order taking. Now, today, as you can see, we are starting the stream at our normal time, 1 p.m. on Friday. However, we will only be going until about 3 p.m. today. I'm actually gonna have to cut the stream a little bit short to take care of a few things. But with that, let's go ahead and get started. You might hear me chewing then and there, and I do apologize for that, but I chew, and I might have to chew to eat some food to keep up with everything going on. You gotta eat, gotta drink. It's a requirement. That's meant to be funny. Often it's not taken that way, though. Okay, let's see what kind of engine we could build. These are fun but rare. Um, kind of thinking of the 14. Those are kind of rare too, to be honest. We'll try a 16 today. Just a default 16, probably less rare. And we do not have that in our inventory. So let's try the, not that, we built that last time. Dang it. That's probably not going to work either since we don't have the 16 engine block, but might as well try it, right? Okay. This didn't work. We often get the V8 2 carbo HV. Let's see if we have any of that in there. We do not. Let's try the 1 carb. 1 carb. Carb 1. Oh. Don't have that either. Oh, let's try a rotary. That's very unlikely, but we'll see. We do not have that. Let's see, V10s. We built a V10 last time. Let's try 2 carb and 1 carb V8 we didn't have. 4x4 dual overhead cam. Don't have. Alright. That's great. Let's move to the 13 dual overhead cam supercharged. Let's see if we have that one. No, we do not. Let's just check and see what we do have. This is kind of getting annoying. Do I even have my engine? Well, that would explain it. I do not seem to have my engine blocks in my inventory. I was pretty certain I already had this transferred over, so I do apologize for me moving parts over from my warehouse into my inventory. You should never have to see this again, as you have never seen it in the past. But you know, mistakes happen, and we gotta move through those, you know? Like, it's like water, my friend, as Bruce Lee said in that one interview. You gotta be water. And that's difficult. I'm more like a brick wall, you know. I think we all are, for the most part. Most people don't change. I mean, and the ones that do, it's difficult. It's a process. Me, I don't care for people. Every day I get harassed by my neighbors, so I don't even listen to them anymore. As far as I'm concerned, they don't even exist. Unless I'm pissed off. And then they might exist for a short period of time, but since they don't seem to want to talk to me, that's how it's going to be. Look at that. Turbo move. We're moving in turbo mode. We're turbo mode moving, you might say. And 1 second, I'll be right back with y'all. Alright, I'm back. Just wanted to make sure of something. I'm back. I'm back in the saddle again. Back in Black, AC/DC. If I'm not mistaken, it was the 80s that was released. Or early 90s. Probably 90s. He was in the saddle in the 80s and 70s. And then he got out of the saddle. And I suspect he got back in the saddle sometime in the 90s. Of course, what was her name? She was an R&B soul singer. She was white, so that was abnormal. And she sang really well, well enough to get in the mainstream. Killed herself, supposedly from an overdose of heroin, if I'm not mistaken. What was her name? She made that Back in Black album. Having difficulty. It'll come to me eventually, probably when I'm not thinking about it. But I have to not be thinking about it. That's the catch. If I'm thinking about it, nope. But anyway, she was a great singer, and it was sad how we lost her. Great musician, I should say. Musician to the end. Alright, we got all those parts. Now let's move these parts over. Fun, right? We gotta keep it up. Keep it positive, you know. Positive was the word. Is the word. Or is it the bird? I've been told it's the bird. The bird, the bird, the bird is the bird. Anyways, I have brain damage, so if I'm acting a little funny. Got it when I was 16. Hit in the back of the head, actually. Knocked out for about a half an hour, apparently. I thought I was dead for a short period of time. Forgetfulness and slurred speech follow. At least I'm pretty certain that's when the speech impediment began. The back of your head's responsible for, well, I forgot what they call it, but not your frontal lobe, but your rear lobe, if I'm not mistaken, is responsible for a lot of intellectual routines. Intellectual patterns, thoughts, processing. And that wasn't the only time I got hit in the head. I also got in a car accident when I was in my mid-20s, if I'm not mistaken. Totaled my second car, which I just paid off. Thankfully, I had full coverage, so they gave me the full value of the car at the time, which wasn't too bad. It did make a down payment, as well as paid off license and tags on my next vehicle at the time, which would have been the Hyundai Tiburon GT Special Edition. Favorite car yet? 6-speed manual. Heaviest clutch I'd ever, well, no, the heaviest clutch I'd ever messed around with. Yeah, that would have been the Tiburon. Heaviest 4-cylinder clutch was the Neon, though. The Dodge Neon, not the Plymouth. High torque. That really contributed to it. You can switch that into first gear without even pressing on the gas. I mean, and you could lift up the clutch fairly quickly too while doing that. It's not good for the vehicle and I wouldn't recommend it, but it was possible. Alright, so we got that all transferred for the most part. Part that we need, let's see if we have this now, because I'm curious. Now, sweet, we do. Have about 3 of them. So let's get the parts added. let's take that out. And let me check something else out here. Let me check it, check it. Huh. Oh, what am I doing? No, do not move the engines over. Slap myself on the hand. Well, that's kind of weird. I would have thought we'd have more spark plugs than that. That plugs that start a spark. Let's just get the aftermarket ones. Oh, funny thing about that time I was knocked out for a half an hour, at least that's what I overheard the neighbor say, but that was immediately after it happened, so the time frame is undistinguished. But I woke up in a different position. I remember going down, and I remember when it all went black, but I was in an entirely different angle at that time. By the way, that was never actually diagnosed, but you know, due to the slur afterwards, it seems pretty conclusive. And due to the fact it was never diagnosed, I've never really shared it with too many people. I think like 2, and they were both my family members. Actually 3, my entire immediate family, actually. But they didn't seem to pay too much attention, as they never really have, except for my mother. She did try up until I was 16. And she was still around. She just, you know, didn't care to push us in the direction she wanted us in, and instead let us, you know, evolve on our own, which isn't really a bad thing. It's probably the thing that should have happened from the beginning. But my father was never really there. Not in a bad way. He was just out working and stuff. I'm very chatty today. I need to stop that. You know, my neighbors will probably use it against me, I'm sure. Terrible people. Really don't like them. Gotta be honest. Creating lies about people doesn't build trust. I don't even talk about them, other than them preventing me from sleeping, talking shit about me 24 hours. Um, that's about it. I prefer not to think about them as much as humanly possible. So that my next week episode will probably be a little short too. I was honestly thinking about changing the schedule, as I think I may be able to get more people by going a little bit later. Later in the day. At least that's, where did I get that? I think, that's what I got when I was looking at the charts. I think it was on, Twitch. The charts, indicated either early morning or late in the evening are probably the best times because most people are on and watching during that time, I guess. I just don't like either one of those options because one, it's difficult to sleep at night, and two, I have to sleep 10 hours a night due to the head trauma, and I never get that anyway, so waking up early is out of the question. And late is out of the question too, because I have to go to bed early in order to compensate for the reason I can't wake up early. So yeah, fun. I've tried speaking to him a few times, but there's more than one that lives there, and most of them are children in the head, in the mind. So speaking to them never does any good, which, that's why you don't speak to the children. And the adult left. I don't know where she went, but when I asked about it, they lied to me. So, surprise, surprise. Alright, we got that engine finished. Let's go ahead and build the next one here. We got about 16 minutes left for engine rebuilding. Got about 2 more 13 blocks, so I'm going to go ahead and build those. We don't get too many of these in the shop, I don't believe, but since I have 2 more of them, I don't want to just leave them not built. Might as well build them out and put them in my warehouse, like I'd like to do. Oh, do. You see? It's all about the do-dos and their placement and time frame. It's important. Not really. That was a joke. A weird joke. Because I have a weird sense of humor. It's been brought to my attention more than once. Usually by my father. Alternator, since it's a fairly generic part, I'm going to go ahead and get 6 of them. I mean, sometimes you'll encounter an engine, usually the V10 and or V12 engines that have different types of alternators, but predominantly they're generally the same, at least in this simulation. I mean, I'm sure in real life they have more variants. They look the same though, identical actually. I just never took one out and put it back in real life. Though I'm sure I could figure it out, it's just a pain. Unless you have a V8 engine where it's in the front instead of an inverted engine like I have in mine. And a lot of other people in SUVs and cars do as well these days, because the engine style, which is similar to this actually, this 13 as well as the 14 engine blocks, are very fuel efficient, as it turns out. Get a crankshaft, get some spark plugs. Oh, never mind. This is made for, yeah, just a 3-cylinder. My bad. It's a tiny little thing. So it's almost the same engine. Similar design. I mean, my air intake is here. Mine would probably be more like the 14 because I got the air intake and then I got the fuel injectors in a similar place. That's the 14. Makes them difficult to locate initially unless you know where they are. And you're like, I know where you are. Don't hide from me. And then they show themselves, like all fuel injectors should. That's funny, by the way, for those who didn't know. That's funny laugh. I'm a funny kind of guy, you know? Kind of weird. Kind of funny. I used to be a lot funnier, though, back in the day. Same sense of humor, just less appreciated. Oh, let's go here. And no cover. We'll get about 3. I don't get. Yeah, we'll get 3. 1 for the next build and 1 just in case we get one of these in the shop. And we happen to need it, you know? If you know, then you know. Uno, dos, tres. That's hard to say. Words are difficult, when I don't sleep enough, I find words hard. It's not that I'm dumb. It's that portion of my brain may be affected. I believe that would be it, the ability to form words. either on one of the middle cortexes on the top of your head or the back cortex. I can't really remember. The front cortex is responsible for emotion. I always remember that one. I don't know why. I have been hit hard in the front of my head though when I got in that car accident which totaled my vehicle. And I was knocked out for a short period of time, I believe. When I hit, I don't remember the driver being out of his car, but when I awoke, he was. So it's kind of sketchy memories there, as you would imagine. Alright, got another engine build completed. Run over and put that in here. Completed. And what do we have here? Got about 8 minutes. I'll go ahead and build another one. Like I said, I do want to get that one out of here. And I already have the parts for the most part. Pressure plate. Timing cover. Engine serpentine. Header. Yeah, it looks like we leveled up again. We are now level 70. Alright, so we got that. Go ahead and separate this rim from the tire. There we go. Just wanted to put that in there just to keep it out of the way. Now that we got those engine builds, we can go ahead and start taking orders. But before we do that, I'm just going to step away for one moment and I'll be right back. But in the meantime, let me go ahead and put on some tunes for you guys. music. And yes, you did see what you think you saw. That being a Fairlady Z. This is actually in the Nissan DLC, so it's accurate representation of the Fairlady Z right down to the last bolt. See, it's a 1969 Fairlady Z S30. Doesn't look like I've really done too much work on this, other than the paint job, which I've recently done. But look at the engine. It is a straight 6 engine. You'll notice the transmission is gearbox 16L24. A little bit different than you'll see in a lot of vehicles. Weird looking carburetors. Really, that's the only thing notable. I mean, the fuse box does look a little different, but I don't know how other fuse boxes looked in the 60s or late 60s, but yeah. Little starter. Alternator looks a lot different. But yeah, it's a tiny little engine, and for some reason I have a great deal of fascination with this vehicle. I really think it's because of those mirrors, the shape of the vehicle, the fact that it's a hatchback, and yeah, it's just unique. I mean, you don't see too many vehicles looking anywhere near this. And the engine itself is even unique. How many vehicles do you see with an inline 6? I mean, we were just talking about that not a day or two ago. But with that, let's go ahead and check into some orders. Looks like this one has 22 seconds. Honestly, I just want to take it to check it out. And 3 seconds on this, so we'll take that. Move this on over to lift B. Move this on over to lift A. Nissan 370Z Nisamo. It says it's a part of the DLC, though it has question marks, so I don't know what's going on there. But yeah, pretty cool car. I actually was looking into I believe it was the 360Z at the time when I was getting my Tiburon. I knew I couldn't afford it, but it was a cool one. "384 horses, 301 foot-pounds of torque." Oof. But you could tune this thing up like a beast. 600 horses, I believe. So anyway, we got to repair all engine faults. Put new engine and oil filter in, and increase the performance by 13 to 18. So, repair all engine faults. I could tell you right off the bat the steering pump will need replaced, the crankshaft, pulley, and the exhaust manifold on one side, as well as the timing cover, possibly. Let's go ahead and run a compression test to confirm. Looks like both camshafts need replacing. And one of the pistons. Ouch. That means we'll have to tear apart the entire engine to get down to it. at least one half of the engine. My guess is this half, given the status of that ignition coil. Let's just go ahead and go here, and here. Oh, no, it wasn't even that cylinder. It's this one. In either case, we're going to have to remove all that anyway. Man, we're going to have to take apart the top of this to get to the other one. And with this particular engine style, you actually have to take off the oil pan in order to take off the timing cover to get to the timing parts and thus the camshafts as well. So, fun fun. It's a very unique engine actually. Both the 370 and the 360 have very unique engines in them that do not go in any other vehicle. And wow, did that need a change. Let's see, we got this one. I'll take that off. That'll allow us to get that off as well while we're up there. Let me see. That's good. Alright, so let's go ahead and start removing this timing cover with umpteen million bolts. Definitely want to have a high torque wrench for that, I would think. Or drill driver, what they call it. Oh yes, the most unique camshaft cap ever made. They're all unified, so instead of taking off multiple caps for the bottom camshaft, you just take off the one. For the top one, however, you do have to take off multiple caps, which you'd have to take off anyway to get to this bottom one. as you have to remove the top one to get to it. And since we had to do that, we're going to also have to do this, if I'm not mistaken, in order to get that off. Yep, that's correct. That will be timing cover D. I seriously doubt we have another one on. Alright, so you don't have to remove it, but you do have to take off the cap for it in order to get to the other one. And I did see we have another viewer there. Would like to welcome you over to the channel. I'm just working on this Nissan 370Z at the moment. Replacing the camshaft on one side and the camshaft as well as the piston on the other side. Don't even know why I put this back on yet. Clearly I forgot I would have to take apart the other side. Currently pretty hungover too. Had like 3 beers last night, so kind of a lightweight when it comes to beer. And pretty much anything nowadays. Only drink once or twice a week, but when I do, it's to excess. Which I'm told is worse than drinking every day. Which I don't know that I necessarily believe that. Said it puts less strain on the system. All the engine problems resolved. Oh, have we got that oil filter placed back in there? Let's see. Not yet. Might help if I oh no, I already did that. So what's oh yeah, I forgot about that. This engine, you need to remove the engine cover in order to get to it. This is the only engine that's like that, mind you, within the simulation. I'm pretty certain that by this time I have worked on every one of them, except for some Mercedes models and maybe some BMW models. So anything that's in an X-Pack that I do not have, which is Mercedes. I think I had the BMW one now. Let's go over here, uncheck those, and we want to increase the vehicle's tuning. This is not a turbo vehicle, I believe. No, not a turbo. Let's see how much we can increase it by replacing those throttles and probably the exhaust manifolds. Gonna be a great place to start. I don't know, that's 1% each. Hardly worth it. The exhaust manifold, however, be about 4%. Looks like the same one on both sides, so we can go ahead and remove those and replace those. That'll give us 8%. We have to upgrade it to a minimum of 13%. So with 8%, that will leave us with, what is that, to about 5% more we have to increase it by. Throttles would only add 2. Fuel pump on this type of engine might add a little more. Normally it wouldn't, but might as well check it out. And 1.5. Was that 1.5? Was 2. Be about 3.5. I don't think we can get one of these aftermarket on this variant of the game, I should say. Can we? looking at? Well, let's check the exhaust pipes. A lot of times we can get a fair amount more with those. Front exhaust 2.5, that would be perfect. Just get 2 of those. And we will have to lift it up. What else do we gotta do on this one? Drain the fluids, no doubt. And that should complete it. Yep, that'll complete it. So before we get over to all of that, we've already filled back the oil. We got that coolant fluid in there, so we should be good to go. And repair all engine faults was 1,446 credits. Put new engine oil and filter in, 25 credits. Other tags, 720 credits. Task bonus, 1,395 credits. Job bonus, 1,174 credits. Total payout of 4,760 credits. So with that, we'll click finish and get started draining the fluids on this one. That's the windshield wiper fluid. We got the coolant fluid. We got the steering fluid. And we got the brake fluid. Now let me see if we also have to drain the oil fluid. We do not. That's good. We can just refill all the fluids now. And we also have to increase the tuning of the vehicle by 13 to 18. So let's check and see if this is turbo. No, don't see a turbo there or back here. Oh, there it is. We found a turbo. Those are usually about 8 to 10% increase, so let's check to see what that is. We'll also check on the exhaust manifold and the intake manifold, as well as the throttle. Some of those hot spots, I like to call them, for added horsepower. That's 4%. What do we get with the... Okay, apparently I didn't get the turbo. There we go. What do we get with the turbo? 7%. 1% less than anticipated. So 7% there. 4% would bring us to 11%. And 3% will bring us to 14. That's perfect. Let's go ahead and start by removing the throttle to remove the air intake manifold. Air intake manifold, as it's called here. And we'll remove the turbo and the exhaust manifold. Go ahead and get those replaced, all except for the throttle. And we should be good to go. Oh, don't want that throttle. Want that throttle. Yep, good to go. So other tax, 2,250 credits, tax bonus 562 credits, job bonus 1,125 credits, total payout of 3,937 credits. So we'll finish up that order. And with that, we have time for at least 2 more orders here, so let's go ahead and take that into the shop. And we got 118 on this, so we'll take that one as well. Move that to A. Looks like an Impreza. And move that to B. Looks like Volvo, honestly. But let's see what we have to do on this one. Brake system needs fixing. Pretty much everything in the brake system almost. One of everything. Car is loud, exhaust. Find and fix all gear problems and transmission not responsive. Alright, so we'll have to start by replacing the ABS module as well as the ABS pump. And then we'll get down to the brake pads and rotors. While we're up here, we will want to remove the starter, as we'll also need to replace the gearbox at least, more than likely the full clutch assembly, given the problems that are being presented. And exhaust, looks like the rear exhaust is going to need replaced on that. So with that, should be able to go ahead and get it up on the lift now. Let's go ahead and start by replacing this real quick. Probably even have one of those in our inventory. Nope, never mind. You do have to purchase one. Rather common design, but I guess we didn't have the B in there. Move that real quick. That way, once we're finished with the pads and the calipers, as well as the rotors, we can move over to that. So the caliper and the brake pad look good, but the rotor looks a little worn. Yeah, 17. And the minimum is 48%. So go ahead and get that replaced. And we'll put the pad and calipers that came with it back on it. Pads and calipers. Fun, fun. Pads, calipers. Fun, fun. Fun and fun, fun. Fun, 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 fun. Fun and fun. Fun, fun. Fun and fun. Just to be clear. Have the caliper. Needs replacing. I'm gonna say that brake pad is good. And I'll put that back on. Over here. The rotor and the brake pad definitely need to be replaced here. After a while, you can just tell by looking at them. Caliper looks okay. So we'll continue to use it. Have a little much of them, if you ask me. Oh, I don't even know why I put that back on. We're going to need to take this off anyway, given we have independent axles on this vehicle. And the axles connect to the drive shaft, which connects to the transmission. Therefore, we have to take off the front tires as well as the axle and the drive shaft in order to take off the gearbox. You catch on to a few things after hundreds of hours playing these simulations. I believe I played the last one for like 200-300 hours, and this one for probably like over 100 hours at this point. Probably approaching 150 at this point. This one has more detail to it. It leaves out very little. I mean, it still doesn't have the sensors or the electric portions to the extent that it would include the wires and yeah, the wires. It does have the fuses in the fuse box now, so that was a cool addition. And some new vehicles, obviously, with the times changing, you get new vehicles. But I really hope they come out with a new version this year, so they could include those, you know, the wires and the sensors in the vehicles to be more accurate as to the engine design. And that way making it easier to actually work on cars and stuff like that. It'd be cool. I will say one thing though. After that long of playing these simulations, you will be able to build an engine in your head, which is kind of nifty. At least as far as where the parts go and what parts are what. Not necessarily how to get said parts off. And obviously, once you know how to get them off, how to get them back on is self-explanatory, normally. Alright, let's check on the status. So, we got all of that completed. The brake system needs fixing is 1,965 credits. Car is allowed 80 credits. Find and fix all gear problems. Find fix gear problems 90 credits. Transmission not responsive at 940 credits. Task bonus of 1,313 credits. Job bonus of 1,048 credits. Total payout of 5,436 credits. We'll finish that up and move on over here to the 93 Volson 2040. Looks like we're having drivers struggling to find gears. Grinding and shaking from gearbox. Repair all gear faults. This one should be pretty easy. What type of engine do we have here? Oh, yeah. Go ahead and remove that before we get under there. That's an L26 transmission, was it? I think we were just looking at this one earlier. In the Fairlady I have up front. Might have been L24 though. No, this is the single overhead cam D14 one. Does resemble it though, except for this portion, which is a lot thicker. The L24, I believe it was, is thinner. Kind of a V shape to it. Clutch bearing. We need to replace that. Pressure plate's good. Clutch and the flywheel need replaced. Wheel, clutch, pressure plate. Put on that same one. As the minimum is 42. That was 49. Gearbox needs replaced as well. And let's get that starter back in here and we can get this back out to the customer. It'd be amazing if I could open my own garage, I'm telling you. But before that, I'd probably start by buying used vehicles, fixing them up, and then reselling them. Know another YouTuber named, goes by the name Jay, I believe. He did the same, and now he's buying a new house with a garage, which he totally renovated. The floors, the walls, the insulation, the doors, even the pavement going into the garage, and renovated parts of the house as well. Tore down walls to make new rooms. Pretty cool, actually. Watts JR Go, I believe, is the name of his channel. But with this, we've already finished everything here. So we have driver struggling to find gears at 625 credits. Grinding and shaking from gearbox at 590 credits. Repair all gear faults at 500 credits. Task bonus of 2,344 credits. Job bonus of 1,130 credits. Total payout of 5,189 credits. With that, we have about 5 minutes left, so I don't see why we wouldn't be able to take at least one more vehicle in here and see about resolving those problems. What is this, the earthquake? We will move here. This is the 2014 Bolthan Grand Mojev. A Bolthan. Oh, has a powerful name to it, you know, Bolthan. Anyways, Does seem to have brake system issues, about 6 of them. So either the ABS module or pump is sure to be bad, along with some calipers, rotors, and brake pads. And we have repair all gear faults, about 2 of those. Repair or replace body parts. All right. Well, let's start with the brakes. It looks like it's the pump this time. Oh, we'll get that replaced with a new one. Oh, crap. There we go. Brake caliper. Looks bad there, so we'll replace that. Go down here. And replace that brake pad. Should make about 3 brake parts replaced so far. That does meet the minimum requirement. Alright, so we got that caliper and the brake pad. Replace both of those. That'll make 5 parts, including the cylinders, probably 7. Well, that should be it. Yep. Brakes repaired. Now let's move over to that gearbox. This one has a 4x4 transmission. As you can tell by that 4x4 transfer case here, we'll remove in a moment. Right here. And the gearbox itself is going to need to be replaced. Fairly common one though. And the clutch release bearing. We'll replace that here. And have to go ahead and purchase one of those. Gearbox. There we go. That is on. Get that transfer case on. And the drive shaft. Repair, replace body parts. See what body parts we have here. Front bumper, left front fender, that is. Front right door window. Bumper, front right door window. And front right fender, rear bumper, right side mirror. Guess both of these need replaced. What's the rear bumper? I'm guessing the trunk as well. Trunk and trunk window. Well, with that, come over here and try and repair them before we run out and buy new ones. Just easier to do with the body parts. With the mechanical parts, I like to just replace them as it makes that part easier. And repair them later on for later use. And that was unrepairable. Pretty certain that showed up as being repairable on the repair bench, but then when we tried to repair it, it just flashed off the screen. Kinda seems like a bug or a you know what, if you watched my previous streams. Talk a lot about it, as well as suspicions on who it may be. So, if you want to hear it, please check those out. It'll all be in the first hour usually, when I go on those kinds of rants. Those are first hour rants. Reserved for the first hour. That was a joke. But true at the same time. They do tend to happen the first hour. First or second hour for sure. Normally the first half an hour. But when they get really involved, it could last up to an hour. So now that we know about my rants, we have finished everything here. So the brake system needs fixing is 1,180 credits. Repair all gear faults at 1,535 credits. Repair or replace body parts at 1,524 credits. Task bonus at 1,225 credits. Job bonus 1,824 credits. Total payout of 7,289 credits. So go ahead and finish that up. That is assuming I have the drive shaft in the vehicle, which I suspect I do. I just forgot the shaft from the transfer case to the front drive axle is what you call that. There we go. So, finish with that. And with that, we did go ahead and build about 3 engines, that being the 13 engines, so that was good to get those out of my warehouse and all built up. And we went ahead and took about, what, 5 orders within that last hour, so 5 in an hour I'd say is all right. So no notable achievements besides the level. We did level up to, I believe it's level 70 it says up there, so not bad. And with that, I would like to thank you for joining me for today's excuse me. I would like to thank you for joining me today for today's Twitch stream. You could join me again on Mondays and Wednesdays from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. on my YouTube channel at not my YouTube channel, no, but on Twitch. You could join me on Mondays and Wednesdays from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. However, on my YouTube channel, you could join me on Friday between the same hours at youtube.com/JASHN2000. Again, that's youtube.com/JASHN2000. So essentially, if you just go to the main page there, my main page, you will be able to see me live. But if you enjoyed watching and would like to see more of this content, please feel free to follow